Happy Sunday, guys. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Beyond the Veil. I am Adina, you guys' host and resident medium, oracle, wise woman, woo lady, psychic, storyteller, crazy lady, all those things that some people have called me around here. In reality, I'm just a girl and Santa's main reindeer in charge. I am so happy for all of you guys who will be joining me this morning. It's morning here in Florida, where I am in the United States of America. If you're new around here, welcome. I stated who I am and what I do so that you don't get confused when you find out that that's what we're doing around here. If you don't like that kind of thing, I invite you to leave peacefully so that you do not disturb my beloved community here. And if you are new, but you're okay with the shenanigans that I do over here, then you're welcome to stay. For all of my regular viewers, um, bush viewers, as I call you guys, subscribers, and my busted babies, happy Sunday, happy day of the sun to all of you. Please let me know how you guys are doing this morning or this afternoon or this night, wherever you are. I am going to let some of you guys come into the chat before I begin so I know that I'm not talking to myself. Excuse me. Oh, poo. I grabbed the empty bottle. Oh, well, I guess I don't need it then. All right, I see people in here, but I don't see anyone speaking to me. Are you guys just lurking from the bushes of YouTube until you figure out who I am and what I do here? If that's the case, please say so I can play back my introduction and tell you guys who I am and what I do here. Hello, adorned. Let my love adorn you on this Sunday. How are you on this beautiful day of the sun? So happy to see a familiar face because nobody's talking to me in the chat. And I will not begin until I see some faces. Hello, Michelle's sister. Hello, Anaya. Thank you. Everton Watson. Love from Africa. I love Africa too. I'll be there in May for the Jazz Festival in Zanzibar. Yes. Hey, iconic world. Happy Sunday. Yes, one Africa, one love. Where are you in the motherland? So I can send my love to your ancestors. Y'all, sorry, that was my empty bottle of Florida water. I have a fresh one around here, but I don't see it, so I guess I'll just have to go without. Thank you, iconic. I think you are iconic. Drum roll, please. Jamaica with a name like Everton. That's very Jamaican of you. Boop, 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 boop. South Africa. Yes. Let's do some Amapiano. You went to Zanzibar for your honeymoon? How was it? I wouldn't mind meeting a honey on that side of the moon. Ooh. I did that to let y'all know I'm dead ass. Anyways, hi Everton, Bombaclad, Everton, Brethren, Wagwan. Hey Liv, happy Sunday. I don't think I've had it, but I definitely would try it because I'm a foodie. So when I travel and make sure that I eat all the good food from all of the good places. I want to eat amongst the locals. You know, Everton, Winston, all them Bambaras, Clad Jamaican names. I know a couple of Winstons. Um, and a Errol. know era. Okay, Arizona. You know, whenever I think of Arizona, I think of Waiting to Exhale, the movie, because that's where Savannah lives in Arizona. So, yeah. Okay. Okay, so listen. Oh, I love you too. Oh, hey, Aaron. Top shutter, top bombaras clad shutter. But. I'm a Lauderdale girl at heart, so, you know. Okay. Um, I see you, Iconic. I see your request. So I came here to talk about, actually, I was going to talk about Northwest because I see I have a lot of new people here. Oh, Anaya Papaya. I'm so glad that I was able to do that. I actually, when I started this channel, and most of my OGs know, when I started this channel, I was only doing like cold case and missing persons and unsolved crimes and things like that because I felt like that was my way of using my gifts to honor the dead because I'm a medium. So me and the dead, we're buddies, we're friends. And anyways, I felt like that was my way of honoring the ones who never got justice or the ones who never got a chance to tell what happened to them. I feel like it was my way of trying to help them get justice or something like that. Hey, Natalie. And Kanye West was my first. And I used to say I'll never, ever, ever read celebrities on this channel because honestly, I felt like it was beneath me. I felt like it was a waste of my gift, not to be used for entertainment, but here I am, anyways. Um, and Kanye West was my first person that I did. And one of the things I mentioned, and this was about 4 or 5 years ago, maybe 2021. One of the things I remember saying that I mentioned was the eventual exploitation of Northwest, in my opinion. And um, I felt like Kanye was going to be helpless in that. And I felt like North was the apple of his eye because it was the one child that he was coherent enough to consent to. I think they both actually wanted that one. And then after that, he went through a 5150 and all kind of other things, and then he hasn't been the same. So I felt like the rest of them were kind of just while he was in the sunken place. Hey, sissy, I'm so happy to see you. Happy Sunday. So I actually, I won't say we see, as I see what I believe to be a fulfillment of what I saw back then concerning Kanye, Kim, and North, I actually thought about reading Northwest, but I always say that I don't read children unless they come out into the spotlight as like their own celebrity. Then I feel like they want to be public. And so once that protection is moved on their own, then I might read them still, and I still kind of don't because kids are a sensitive subject. But that's why I decided not to read Northwest. I actually decided to read her mother. And I actually was going to call this the evolution of Kim Kardashian into Kris Jenner. But I said no, I'm going to give Kim her own platform without tying her to her child or her mother. I'm going to just do that and read her own evolution from Paris Hilton's closet organizer to the brand that she is and how she got there. I did hear that she just let North create an Instagram. Before I begin on that, though, all of my members already know this because we kind of decided to do this on my members live. But we will be doing a group crown of success on New Year's Eve. I did make a post of that on my page going in depth about what a crown of success is and what the benefits of this type of ceremony is. For those of you who are new, I am the Woo Lady. So take a look at my page and my profile if you need to catch up on who I am. Feel free. But we decided that we are going to do, and I typically don't like to do New Year's crown of successes on the calendar New Year because I acknowledge the New Year at the spring equinox. And so that's when I think it's most beneficial to do the crown of success. But since the collective acknowledges December 31st as a new year, and that's usually when everyone is making plans and resolutions, and based on my own personal life, because I need one, I always feel like when my ideas about doing a group ceremony comes from me planning a ceremony for myself and then saying, okay, well, we'll do a group ceremony. So December 31st, I'm going to do a group ceremony, and this one is it's a crown of success, but I'm going to also merge it with a blockbuster slash road opener because based on what my goals are, I set quite a few goals for 2025, and not necessarily at any new year, but just I always set goals, period, all throughout life as I achieve them. But I feel like I did not achieve my greatest goals. And I feel like, when I sit down and I discuss with my spirits the way I do, what I could do better to achieve those more heftier goals. um, I came up with a few things, but as a spiritualist and a spiritual practitioner, one of those things was I am due for an offering. And I already told my members that I was going to do that on the supermoon on January the 2nd. I'm going to do an offering ceremony, and that's personal. I did say that any of my regular clients who have been working with me throughout the year, if you want to participate in that, you can. And that's no set price. You can send a donation based on you saying, hey, just, chip in and get some of the things that you're going to use for an offering. But I'm due for that. And I'm due for a renewal of covenant with my spirits because I'm due for an upgrade. And so my spirits told me to go along with your plan. All you need to do is go along with your plan, do the crown of success, and then afterwards give us our just due. And then that will be the push that you need and all of your everybody attached to you needs. So we're going to do a crown of success on December 31st, and I'm still going to do it on the spring solstice. However, those are going to be the only two crown of successes that I do, or group crown of successes that I do all year. So this one coming up on the New Year's Eve and the one on the spring equinox, those are the only two group crown of successes that I'll do. You can get one personally, but honestly, if you do the group ones, you really don't need to do a personal one because those usually, bring you something, bring you a reward or a blessing or a upgrade that lasts you. And so, um, if you guys want to participate, group ceremonies, if you're new here, I do group ceremonies periodically, and they are always $50, and that is a discount. The Crown of Success is, I don't remember how much it costs individually, but it's in the 200s if you get a personal ceremony. But anytime I offer a group ceremony, they're $50 to participate. And I do record clips of the ceremony and put together a nice little video for you to see the work that you got done. And I send that out to all participants, and I do post that on my Instagram that I make specifically for my clients and the work that I do. It's private because it's not for me to get popular, it's for me and my clients so that they can see their work and my work. You can, if you have not ever contacted me before and you would like to participate, it's beyond the veil adina at gmail.com. If one of the mods don't mind putting my email in the chat so I can pin it. And if you already have my contact, you already know how to hit me up. I actually do have a new Cash App now, so I guess I will add that to my service sheet and then repost it on my YouTube and Instagram for all the newcomers. But December 31st, Crown of Success, and it's going to be mixed with the blockbuster because I feel like I need some shit moved out of the way. Because I'm really, really, really trying to really bring something big in. And the offering ceremony is going to seal the deal because the offering that I'm going to give is going to be great. So I also let my members know that if you want to participate in the Crown of Success and the offering ceremony, I will allocate some of the funds from the Crown of Success to get you something to offer in the offering ceremony, so you don't have to add anything if you don't want to. You can just let me know when you hit me up to participate in the Crown of Success. I also want to give an offering to the spirits when you do that ceremony as well. That is a way of you saying thank you. Thank you, April. So that has nothing to do with me because I'm doing that ceremony just to give thanks to the spirit and to also make a pact, a covenant, um, a new covenant. So, anyways, the evolution of Kim Kardashian, now that that business is out of the way, because I discussed it with the members, but not everybody else, and not everybody is a member. Shout out to the mods. Oh, and that's why I have on my Christmas gear because I came bearing gifts. The evolution of Kimberly Kardashian. Most High, Mother, Father, King, Queen of Heaven, God, Goddess, please allow me to conjure up the spirit, soul, and collective energy of Kimberly Kardashian. I feel like she smells good. I used to always call spirits up and smell sense them first. I haven't had that experience in a while because usually I'm shooting the shits with my members, my subscribers in the chat, and I'm usually more silly than I am now. But I feel like she smells good. Her energy gives rich, very rich bitch. It gives off, I am a very rich bitch, a very rich and powerful bitch. Um, and that's not me being offensive by calling her the B word, honey, because I am a very godly bitch. Okay. Anyways, her middle name ain't Ann. Why do I want to call her Kimberly Ann Kardashian? What the hell is her middle name? Does anyone know? What is Kim Kardashian's middle name? She does look like she smells good too. I feel like I'm sure she does. My nose is never wrong, even from miles and miles away. Kimberly Noel. Oh, Noel, no. Oh, to all. My niece's, my oldest niece's name, her middle name is Noel because she's born on Christmas Day. And she turns 10, so my sister went and got her nails done, and she's had them done before, but my sister let her get some little baby tips. They're not even a whole inch past her real nails, but and my sister was like, she ain't put her hands down. She put her hands down since. And me and my other sister was like, as she should. As she should. She was like, she's doing everything with those hands. Everything she says is with those hands. And we were like, as she should. I actually got her one of her gifts here for my Autumn Noel. That's her name, Autumn Noel. Because she's a lady now. I get all my nieces bags every year because I'm the auntie who has to make sure they're fly. And of course, I put Munyon in there. Well, if you don't care, then leave. But this is her new bag. This is one of her gifts. I got her favorite store is Bed Bath and Beyond because now she's into fragrances too. So I got her $100 gift card and I got her some lip oils. I use those and it's money in here too. Um, and I got my other niece that's 7. I got her like a mini version of this because she looks up to Autumn. So, anyways, I got distracted by finding out Kim Kardashian's middle name is Noel because I have a Noel. Anyways, let me put this back in the bag. When I say I am going to win Christmas this year with the kids, everybody was like, I'm jealous when I got the kids because I got all of the best gifts. Everything that they wanted, everybody else got, but I got the best stuff on the list. And so I'm so proud because every year I silently compete to get the best gifts, but the kids are always just like, yeah, well, but this other stuff over here, and I take that so personally. So this year, everybody was like, no, you won. And I was like, no, I feel it. I did. I really did. I ain't even bother wrapping shit up because they so lit and so big. I ain't even, listen. The way I'm going to brag when I come back from Christmas about me being TT of the century. Oh, it's not even going to be funny. You guys are going to have to hear about it for 30 minutes straight, and then I'll get to it. Anyways, Kimberly, and they actually, the Kardashians really do Christmas really big too. So, anyways, Kimberly Noel Kardashian. Spirit, please allow me to conjure up the spirit, soul, and collective energy of Kimberly Noel Kardashian. Kimberly, I like to speak to your soul, spirit, and speak to your soul and your spirit's truth. You are compelled to keep absolutely nothing hidden from me because Libras lie, and I feel like to keep a secret, you'd lie. Your soul would try to hide things, and nothing gets hidden from me. Kimberly Kardashian, you have come a long way from being Paris Hilton's lackey, and even then, I felt like you still had your eye on the prize. I think you were making your way, paying your dues, even back then, building connections and making sure you build bridges and not burn them, even if those bridges that you built kind of treated you like the help. You're a Libra, I'm a Libra, so I know what it is to network, socialite your way up the ladder. And I know what it's like to be cunning. And I don't believe a socialite was ever your end goal. I believe you are at your peak right now. I believe you are at what you wanted to be at, and the sky's the limit for you. But I think you understood the road there. And I honestly, even though I'm not a Kim Kardashian stan, as I am a 38-year-old grown ass woman, so I I I'm too old to stand anybody but myself. But I think what I'm noticing is your Libra strategy and cunning. And as a fellow Libra, I can admire it in that regard when it comes to achieving a long-term goal and having to be strategic about it and knowing that it's not going to be overnight and you may have to pay dues. That's something early on as a Libra in my ambitions to climb my own ambitional ladder. In my early days, that's the part that I used to not want to do, and that's pay dues because I felt like I was great enough. I was already good enough. And I wanted to skip over the long process where yeah, you good enough, but you still have to pay your dues. You're just raw talent now, but paying those dues, there's lessons along the way that will make you better prepared for what you want. And I had to learn that after a lot of wins and losses along the way. And so, thank you, Adorned. So, and it actually matches her nails. So, that's great. So, I already am in Kim Kardashian's energy because I think right now she feels very powerful on her own when I'm speaking about her evolution. because that's what I want to see from her soul, her evolution into the Kim Kardashian she is now, and what's next for her. Kim Kardashian, what's next for you? We see how you have evolved into your own powerhouse. But based on where you are now, where are you going? And what's going on in your life now that can help or hinder you with that? Hello, hazelnut in Finland. Thank you, diamonds. Look, happy as, well, the Emperor and the Nine of Cups. Because this is the Emperor at his leisurely state, or this is a stately man at his leisurely state, which is why you don't see him in his royal garbs. Because he's leisurely, he has everything he wants right now. And everything else that they do is not just for the benefit of themselves, but for their family. Because the only thing above that in the court cards of the cups is the Ten of Cups, which is the card of family fulfillment in this context. So Kim Kardashian is rich, wealthy, powerful, and has reached her personal goals. And it's also everything that she does benefits the Ten of Cups, the whole Kardashian empire as well. And so I do believe, based on this, that at presently, Kim Kardashian is very pleased with herself and what she's achieved. But also, this is still the court cards. You go all the way up to the King of Cups, and then you can be the Empress, or, you can go into the major arcana if you want. So I do believe that she has ambitions, but I think based on where she is now, she's pleased. I think one of the things that's missing right now is the family element with the Ten of Cups, which means that one of the things that is not being fulfilling right now may be some of the feedback about Northwest's new Instagram, that new cup that would make the 9 the 10, a new ace added to the 9 would make it a 10. And so people have taken away that ace because they don't agree, the general public don't agree with Northwest having a social media platform at her age. Nor do they, well, I can't say that because people have been standing for North in her aesthetic, but now here's the ace. But it doesn't come as um, a cup, it comes as a sword because this is strategic branding North. And I believe they did it not just as a response, but I do believe that they have been teasing a launch of Blue, as the Carters have been teasing. I mean, they have been teasing a launch of North, as the Carters have been teasing a launch of Blue. Blue is on her mother's tour. Blue is the one who gets photographed the most with her parents at events and things. Most recently, Blue was sitting courtside. And when celebrities go to a game and sit courtside, that's usually a PR move, a PR statement. When the girlies do it, they're advertising that they're on the market, and I'm looking for a baller. And celebrities do it for various reasons, but sitting courtside and getting photographed in that manner, and I do believe Blue was posing a little bit, that was a continuation of what I believe has been a kid-friendly soft launch for something that they have for Blue. Even if she's just helping out behind the scenes with makeup and stuff, allowing her to be seen is, helping her build up her resume, so to speak. So I do believe the challenge is that introducing North to social media in this way has been strategic. Her mother is a Libra and this is an air sign, but it's in the challenging position because the feedback has been mixed. And her father is a Gemini, so she has two air sign parents that are considered very polarizing, to say the least, controversial at best. So there's that. On one side, you have Kim being strategic with this soft launch. And then on the other side, you have people saying Kanye was right. So that's why we have an ace of sword in the challenging position. Here's where we get into Kanye. Now, it's in my opinion, based on this card, that Kanye has been X'd out of the picture, even when it comes to North. And while I do believe she kind of formed her own opinions at 12, your opinions are formed by your environment, um, and your parents majorly, whether directly or indirectly. So Kim would be the direct influence, and Kanye is the indirect influence, which is still an influence nonetheless. And I believe that North was still riding with her father, despite what challenges he may have had. But as she gets older and has been exposed to so much controversial commentary about her father, not just from the public, but I'm sure from behind closed doors, I think she's grown up to form an opinion that's more aligned with the majority than what it was when she was a child that just innocently and blindly loved her parents because they were her parents and kind of saw them doing no wrong. And I think she saw Kanye as cool when the world saw him as crazy. I think she saw him as cool. So Kanye has been kind of left out in the cold. And where I think it made it easy for North to come to this conclusion, in my opinion, is Kanye accepting that they may have taken control of my child in a way that I can't necessarily compete with. So, what am I going to do? It is what it is. If he felt defeated and said it is what it is because they have all the power and control over North and kind of everything else, then North would have saw that probably, maybe, as some form of abandonment. And so it would have been easy for her to grow her own resentment and then join everybody else's opinion about her dad. And so I think that's what this is. I think Kanye felt defeated and then North took that as, all right, well, shit, you are what they say you are. Did you guys say that she took Northwest's profile down? This might be putting it up. This is North, baby girl. Did you guys say she took it down? Did someone say that? If so, then this would be the taken down profile because of the bad reception. And if not, this would be just further bad reception of Northwest joining Instagram. Either way it goes, it's not well received, and they have received that it's not well received. Crowning. This is a family card. So Kim Kardashian is further building her empire, but her empire is a family-oriented business. They have learned a formula, and that is to form businesses and brands surrounding the women and the family. And the young women, the new young women in the family are no different. If 4 or 5 years ago I can see that this is what was coming, and I did see that, then I also stand by saying that this, in my opinion, while people can say, sure, it's a family business, in my opinion, it's unsafe and it's exploitation, because we're thinking about launching children into a society that is not innocent anymore in any way, not even for children, especially in the new world order, the social construct, the virtual world. Um, but I think that celebrities are well paid influencers. And if you want to build a business later on that you might feel is more respectable, then you have to build some sort of influence. And I think that might be the Kardashian formula. Build influence so that you can get deals with brands to leverage your influence. And so I think that this is a rinse, wash, and repeat of that formula that they have perfected in that family. I also, this is usury, sort of usury. This is a mixture of usury and envy also. So I do think that at various times throughout their relationships, throughout their lives, there have been various times of envy and gratitude. I think that Kim is very much aware that she is the most successful and the most famous, and that she feels like the rest of them, including probably her mother, have her to thank for that. Because if she never was able to go out there or willing to take one for the team when it came to that tape with Ray J, then her mother wouldn't be eating. Her mother wouldn't have had the opportunity to allegedly manage that deal so well that it turned into her, building on that. And so I think Kim is very well aware of that. And I think they all kind of know that now and have accepted that. Um, and I do believe that Kim is willing to put North on the stroll. I mean, if it happened to her and she turned out, with a $1 billion brand, why not? I feel like she may be thinking it like, she'll be fine. She'll be very wealthy. I turned out just fine. Kim is very conscious of the negative feedback, and I think she's already looking at a way to mitigate that. She's already strategizing. Her mom over North, I think they're already strategizing on a way to clean that up. External to them, I think people think that that was in poor taste. People like Kim, especially the colored community. That I believe is still her biggest fan base when it comes to her influence. I believe when it comes to her pockets, that might be split, but her influence comes and her popularity is fueled by her influence over the African American and minority community. And so they ride with Kim. That's how she's been able to be successful despite so many challenges on her road to wealth. She's been unpopular with people, popular, and she's come out on top. And people like her for that, actually. This, though, they don't ride with you on Kim. But it's okay. You'll be fine, I believe. This will not take you down. Eh, they will come up with a strategy to mitigate that, and I think that's what they're working on. But they are damaged by the perception. But they've been damaged by a lot of perceptions. Like I said, fine. She'll be fine. I'm reading the evolution of Kim, so that is something that she's dealing with currently. Ultimately, Kim ain't even the Queen of Pentacles. She's the King of Pentacles. Not even the King of Swords, her own suit. This is a very, very, very wealthy and rich woman, and she will be. I'm reading her evolution. She's evolving into the King of Pentacles, and that's her outcome. And that's because she's built such a kingdom for herself. I won't even say a brand, I'll say a kingdom for herself. Businesses, endorsements, movies and TV shows, all kinds of things, skims, you name it, fashion, all kinds of shit. She's tapped her toe in, and most of them have been successful. So Kim will continue to evolve into success, and everybody attached with her will be successful, and they will be working too. because Libras are good bosses when it comes to leading, but they're not the most emotional bosses. Their eye is on the prize, and the way they get there is through not being emotional or overly passionate. It's by using their air element. And as a woman in her, I'll say, flowered age, not old, not young, not considered young anymore, but not considered old. She's a grown, flowered woman now. So she's learned herself and how to manage herself so that she can continue to build, and she will do so. Kim is seen so positively in the public. Kanye is still considered Kanye, but I think he sees and understands that he's gone from powerful magician, because this is a Gemini card, to just the Page of Swords, and all he can do is kind of look on, know that he was right a long time ago when he said this a while ago, a page. But he's been axed out of the circle. He has no more influence, and I don't think that his child or his children are that much bothered with him. King of Pentacles, her outcome. Challenges, she'll have different endeavors. Some of them will work, some of them don't. But ultimately, she'll continue to build her wealth. Her influence, she's able to take her influence from diverse groups of people and leverage that into deals and opportunities. And she's mastered that. The master alchemist, the alchemist. See that symbol of alchemy? And she knows that that's how she becomes the boss. So she is not in her feminine flow. She's nobody's empress. She doesn't even need to be anybody's wife. And if she does, it will be a partnership, a merger. She's not looking for anybody to come and save her. And she might have needed that before, but not anymore. Even though I still believe she has powerful men, maybe one very, very specific powerful one by the name of Elon, but she has very powerful men that she's earned their respect. So it doesn't even have to be romantic or sexual. She's earned their business respect because they can utilize her popularity with so many diverse groups of people. And she doesn't show up in a romantic way. She shows up as someone who understands, hey, I'm coming to you with millions of people who will buy into anything I say, do, wear, think. And these men are interested in influencing you. So she's maneuvered her way into a position that doesn't rely on her Virginia, her vagina. I see a marriage in a failed attempt to get someone locked up, either into a conservatorship or some type of permanent confinement in a facility. And I saw signs that were there even before they got married. This is also a Gemini card. So Kanye walked into this knowing, I think he actually felt and knew that she was no good for him. He may have felt like she showed signs of not really being emotionally invested into him, but married her anyways because he was thinking of trying to make a power couple situation, maybe like Jay-Z and Beyonce. And he was looking at her to be his trophy, but she was looking up. She had her eyes on a bigger picture. She saw herself in a more godlike or important position between the two. So even then, she knew what she was doing, and they both had their own reasons consciously for coming into this strategically. But then things went south. Um, I believe he may have And I said this 4 or 5 years ago. I believe he may have not wanted any more children except for North. And I believe she didn't either, or she may have told him that. But then once he start getting 5150 and stuff, and she start thinking about the bigger picture with his mental induced or otherwise stuff going on, it's more lucrative to have more babies from him. Not so much if he's in his right mind, but if he's not in his right mind, let me go ahead. Let me go ahead and get a surrogate and get this show on the road. Load them up. Load them babies up. I need about 4, 5 of them. Yeah. So I do believe that, but Kim has leveraged that, so she's more powerful than Kanye West. Did anybody besides me see that coming? All right, there's not much more to read here from Kim. It's not much to dig, not much more to dig into that you guys don't already know. I didn't even know the chat was this active. I was stuck all the way up in the early part. Yes, he got play. Okay, I was wondering why nobody was talking to me, and y'all have been. Okay, Kim is truly self-made. Yes. Sissy, yeah, we'll get over it. That and they know that. She knows that. Thank you, Mr. Person. Okay, it's still up. So let me look into that then. And people follow people are weird. Imagine adults standing a 12-year-old. She's so da 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 da. She's so da da da. She's so fly. Oh my God, North. I couldn't imagine at my grown age. Like North is 12. My niece is 10. And I was excited about upgrading the bag I got her. I got a little fuzzy ball. You know what I'm saying? She got this. Look, my sister was like, oh, she's going to love this. I don't even know what the fuck this is. But it's so girly and cute. And she still got, ain't allowed on YouTube. They were, but my sister and her husband nipped that in the bud once they start seeing what they was trying to sneak into the kids programming. So no, they still age restrictions and parental restrictions on the phone. So yeah, let me look into that. Hey, Rosia. Okay, let me look into this because I this still up there, but it's not being received well. People think it's highly inappropriate, and a lot of the more sensible people think that Kim is exploiting or beginning to exploit. Um, People are remembering things that Kanye said in this regard, and maybe even feeling like his illnesses were helped simply because people are remembering certain things he said back then, and maybe are thinking maybe he wasn't crazy just because he had a natural break. That's in the near future. So the longer, Kim, you guys, the more you exploit um, North, the more people are just going to feel like Kanye was right. But not saying that that's going to affect you in the long term because you secure, girl. Yes, this is people saying, no, take it down. This is social media not agreeing. However, if it's still up, it's because it is time to launch. And I'm afraid of who this King of Wands is. I want it to be Kim, thinking like a business person and not a actual king, because then I would go down a rabbit hole and feel like this is soft, or I'll say celebrity way of advertising. Let me clarify the king, because I like to believe that that king is Kim, being a businesswoman and saying it's time to get North out here so she can start building up her following, so that she can start leveraging her own following to get deals too. 16 they might feel like 16 is too late to build an influence over impressionable youth. By 16, you already are standing already over your faves, and it's a little harder to introduce a new fave if you haven't already gotten them while they're younger. So it's about influence and psychology. No, I don't think Kim is going to take it down. This is people saying take it down, but this is going further and being persistent and knowing that this little wound, it'll heal because they're not following her. So that's why these people can feel so emboldened about it. It's because people support it. And here's Kanye. I don't know where he is right now, maybe the sunken place, but if he's somewhere watching, he's knowing he's feeling like I told y'all. But I don't think he feels like he can do anything about it at this point. So I also do believe that this is also a way of because some of these powerful men, they have tastes that are different from normal, not powerful and wealthy men who have not just wealth but power. They have different tastes. This seems to be a way of life, and they do not care about the general public because they know how to make you guys turn the other way and make it seem like a thing isn't inappropriate. It's just a thing, it's just social media. Gag over North. But this is a card of apathy. Being apathetic and not using your God given common sense. Because what we have here is a woman who presents herself as a queen. And I'm still reading a little girl here. But I'm also actually clarifying this exploitation. You have a young girl, this page, who comes across a little bit queenly, a little bit more mature than a page. And that's not for nothing. Now, in another context, having this and this together like this, I would say this is a pimp and this is the bottom bitch. This is the hoe. In any other context, if I was reading grown people say a man and a woman, I would say, oh, he's putting her on a stroll in some way. Whether it's actually sexually or not, and wands are business, but they could be sex too. If I'm clarifying strength in reverse, which is Leo, then that puts these in more Leo. That gives me a mix of business and sex, show business and sex. And are we not in an industry that really, 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 can we say, does not mix the two? Show business and sex. And can we say that historically, show business has not been afraid to mix those two with children, especially when their parents are behind the curtain saying, lay like this, pose like this, do like this, do like this. I'm just saying. And maybe, just maybe, if you go scroll way, 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 you're going to be scrolling for days down my profile and read that first Kanye reading I did 4 or 5 years ago. Hear me saying the exact same things I'm saying now, 4 or 5 years later. Then maybe people who might feel like I am hating or crazy might not be able to say that if I'm saying the same thing. And then look where we are. And I might have said it a little bit more than I'm willing to say now back then, because I've learned to bite my tongue a little bit or to be a little bit PC and learn how to work around saying things so explicitly. But we'll just put that there. In the future, Kanye may pop back up and assert himself in a way kick up some steam, kick up some trouble for them. He's not going to be gone away in the sunken place forever. He'll pop back out, kick up some steam for them, but they will overcome. Kim will overcome. When Kanye is not in the sunken place here, then he remembers that he's not Kanye West, he's North's dad. I said 4 or 5 years ago, the only thing Kanye fights for in life, not even his own life, but to be present for North to try to give her some sort of protection. Because I think he gave up on himself a long time ago. When he is not in this sunken place, because this is a sunken place, and since he's had so many mental health incidents, then if it was induced in the beginning, it's a real issue now. So I think he goes in and out. But when he comes back out, he remembers that he's only Kanye West to be North's dad. When he's ranting, I feel like he's trying to make the world a better place for North. He's trying to make it less convenient for a predatory system to be predatory, because he know that his mama don't mind benefiting from that system. So when he's coherent, I'm Kanye West. Let me shake the table for North. This is a sunken place I'm looking into. Oh dear. Once he feel like he was losing North, I feel like he let himself go all the way, because he was already at a point where he was so regretful of the life that he had gotten himself into that all he could do is try to sabotage it and rebel against it and make money off of it that he ain't gonna really spend like that. But fuck it, I'm a rebel with a cause. I'm gonna tear down the system and use my brilliance to still make money, even though I know they hate me, but I make money. So that's him in his own bubble. But other than that, I feel like North is the only thing that he's ever really hung on for. And when he started losing his relationship with her, I feel like it became less a priority to fight through the sunken place. I do believe that he has people that look over him. Again, I think that his wife's family has a person who knows how to build conservatorship situations. I believe that person is Lou Taylor, but that's my opinion. I don't know them personally. So they listen to somebody who knows how to build a situation that could be lucrative in regards to Kanye. This person is initiated into some sort of Hollywood society. So that's where their protection and kind of mysteriousness comes in at, and why they're so involved with so many people in very silent ways. This apron, that's the masters, the mason's apron that they're wearing. This is a mason because they know how to build this here structure, this temple that they're in. So I believe that Lou Taylor woman, I believe that she is an initiate or a mason or initiate in one of those old guard sects that still hold power, but they also know how the system is built because they either help build it or help uphold it. So this is how this comes in with Kanye. I believe his issues were induced when he started going rogue. And I don't think his initial going rogue was crazy. I think he was rebelling. But I think the industry stepped in and handled the situation. And I believe his girlfriend and his baby mom and his wife had an advisor who knew how to get somebody like this under control, under your control, under our control. Once he started talking, medication came into the picture. Therapy, medication. And they say mental health, but mental health as a medium, as a reader, always comes up as a cup or the moon card. The moon is my go-to card for somebody's bipolar, you know, what they call schizophrenic, all of that stuff that they diagnose as a mental disorder. As a reader, it comes up as a cup. So it is an emotional and spiritual. People usually go through trauma and then have some sort of breakdown, but they go through some sort of trauma that triggers a breakdown. So you treat the trauma. You treat the trauma so you get rid of the triggers. And you don't treat trauma with medication that affects the brain, because that medication only knows how to dull the brain when it's triggered by something else. So something has to come up to trigger that person, maybe put them in a situation that they can't emotionally handle. That's usually when they're triggered, when they're in a situation that they can't emotionally handle, because their mind is no longer able to rationalize their emotions that way. And the medication, in my opinion, doesn't necessarily heal them, but what it does is when a trigger, which I think plays on a person's emotional nature, comes up, the medication helps the mind to not register it that way, not see it at all, not see it, not perceive it as a threat to you. Which is why when a person is off their meds, they usually go back to that state, because it's an emotional issue after trauma. And there is a way to treat trauma and emotional issues, but the medical community will not acknowledge that unless they can put you under a psychiatrist who will give you meds. Nevertheless, that's Kanye. Kanye will come out of the sunken place and do Kanye sometimes, but Kim will prevail. She comes out as the King of Pentacles, so everything in her empire that's attached to her looks abundant. Never thought about it like that, sissy, have you? Mm-hmm. You see, I come from a family of healers, and we always believe in health, physical health issues being tied also to trauma and traumatic events. So in my family, we were never afraid to get together and have like conversations, deep conversations. We call them therapy sessions with each other, where we just end up in a conversation and it's deep. And next thing you know, we done cried a little bit, prayed a little bit, laid hands on each other, bled out. And then it feels so much lighter. And the only thing left we can do is eat, because we need to replenish ourselves, because we have kind of bled out and shedded something. We've done that so many times, and in those moments, and since my family have so many women, it's usually women led, and in those moments is when my family's spiritual gifts come out, because then we get to prophesying and seeing things within each other and being able to locate the roots of illnesses and things like that. We might be in a session and then an auntie might come up and touch you on your belly and then speak into that thing that they sense in your belly. And next thing you know, you balled up in fetal position on the floor, crying and snotting and, releasing all kind of shit. And then they holding you and cradling you, and, it's oil and prayers and tears and caring and going on. And then everybody tired and hungry 3, 4 hours later. I grew up in that type of environment, and so that's where my perspective of any type of illness comes from. And due to, I believe, my scorpionic placements and my daddy being a quintessential Scorpio, I usually see roots better than I see the branches from the tree. So I look for solutions in life. And if you look for solutions, then it's going to always make you search for the root. Because if you really want to heal somebody and not treat them, you won't want to stop at, okay, well, you'll end up with more questions. Like, okay, well, they have this issue, and I know this medicine will make their brain not register it, but why are they having this issue? Then you'll dig to something and you'll get to something else and you'll say, okay, I understand that, but where'd that come from? And you'll keep digging until you get to the root. And then that's where you'll be able to see all those other branches and leaves come from this one thing that is deeply rooted in the soil and of the in the being of a person. And I feel like that's what you treat. But because it's a root, it might have spread it. It might have been there for so long. It takes more time and effort to treat it, but it's the only way to get rid of that whole tree of good and evil. Yeah. So that's usually where my perspectives on things come from. Is a healing perspective and not a treating perspective. And I have self healed so much of my own trauma so that I could want to live and not struggle with depression and things like that. The only thing I take consistently is marijuana. But everything else I had to really fight through. And the only way that I could live is is if I fought and said, okay, I can either fall into this sunken place, or I can figure out why this sunken place is here. Why is there a 6 foot ditch built for me to die in within myself? Who dug it? Was it me? And who told me to dig a grave for myself? Who taught me to prepare for my own demise when I should have been preparing for life? Where did I get these thoughts in the first place? Why are these thoughts here? Where do they come from? Why do I feel so low about myself? I had to ask those hard questions, and then I dealt with the demons that I saw behind in those closets that I found. And not everybody is strong enough to do that, but thank God that I was, because I've been blessed with the community. And some people that are a part of this community have not and are not that strong, but they are now. Shout out to those of you who are now, who are no longer calling me because you're on the ledge anymore. Shout out for those of you in the chat or in the community who don't want to put your business out there, that are no longer on the SOS program, which is what I call when people come to me and they're like, I'm finna do it. And I tell those people, anytime you feel that way, don't worry about booking a consultation with me. Text me SOS so that I know it's an emergency and I'll drop what I'm doing. And we've had to do that. And I can say there's 2 people that I know of that are not there anymore. I even made them start paying for consultations again because they're in such a better place now that I ain't even got to say, you ain't got to pay me for consultations no more. We went from SOS to don't even worry about paying me for consultations. If you need me, call me. And now it's like, no, 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 baby. You good now. We done nursed you back to health. It ain't about getting your money on, but you can afford it. You don't need charity anymore. You're good. So one of them I remember, and I remember, I won't say their name, but I remember, and I'm so proud of these people. So I'm bragging on them like a proud mother. But I remember they came to me with so many, what people would call mental disorders, undiagnosed. They are in their early 20s, may have had 1 or 2 jobs, but quit them or may have gotten fired because of their social anxiety, as they call it. And I feel like I've never heard that until the New World Order set in, the new virtual world. And it may be necessary for that diagnosis to be now because you guys grew up in a different world of socializing. And so I kind of understood why they felt like going in to a building where it's hundreds or maybe even thousands of people gave them anxiety when they grew up not having to interact with no fucking body, really. Y'all go online and make friends. And so, social anxiety, they were LGBTQ and grew up in a very, very, very traditional family, and they're not born and they're not from the US, so their culture is different. So they had anxiety about growing up under the thumb of their very conservative father, and it gave them a lot of depression, anxiety, and so they came to me so meek and feeble and tender. And I spent a good 6 months of our relationship going over the same messages. It was never a different message because I had already got to the root of the problem. And I was ready for them to get to the point of working with the treatment, working with the tools that I gave them. Not saying that I healed them, but the tools that I gave them. These are tools that I used. And so eventually, piece by piece, they start implementing baby steps. Not only because I'm like, okay, you have social anxiety, but you still got to make a living. So, also as an HR and ex HR specialist, I'm like, okay, so listen, these are some careers that you can do. You can make a lot of money and have as minimal contact with people as you choose. Get into IT, get into tech. And for your generation, since you're in your early 20s, perfect time. You guys grew up in a technological world and a digital world, so you already are acclimated to it. So go to one of the little courses, 6, 12 months, however they take, get coding or whatever it is to start. Maybe coding, get your feet wet and then work tech world. Because you can sit behind a computer all day and really not have to engage with anyone and still make a nice amount of money. Guess who finished school, you guys, and had an interview? Yep, yep, yep. A couple of weeks ago, I didn't follow up to see how it was because I kind of wanted them. I didn't want to, if it didn't go well, I didn't want them to feel pressured to tell me. So I haven't checked in, but I wanted them to just be proud of the fact that they got that far. So I didn't even ask. And when they're ready, they'll reach out and then we'll work from there. But they were on my SOS program too. So there is a way to heal, self-heal, what society calls mental health issues. Dealing with the mind is the easy part. Once you start telling the mind why it thinks the way it does, because all people are in that state know is this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm feeling. This is what I feel, this is what I think. So if the way they think is negative and the mind can be programmed, then you help them reprogram it. But then you also have to dig into this is what I feel, because usually if you ask them why they think a certain way, they'll get into something feeling wise, emotional. They'll tell you what the trigger is, whether they acknowledge it as a trigger or not. And if you listen, it's attached to a feeling, an experience, an emotion, something like that. So then that's when you can say, ah, okay, now we're getting somewhere. Okay. That's my theory based on what I use on myself and what I've helped with other people. And Natasha, my ex friend that used to um, feature on this channel sometimes because I'd be at her farm, she stopped taking Xanax. When I met her, she was popping Xanax like candy. And yes, had grown an addiction to it. She would, it was like her issues were triggered by withdrawal. So whenever she went through withdrawal from a Xanax, whenever she was ready, whenever her body wanted that feeling again, then she'd find something subconsciously to be depressed about. And it come up out of nowhere. We'd be having a good day and then, chilling. And she even smoked weed too, and that's fine, but without those Xanaxes. And it's like, she pop one in the morning and then everything is fine and all this stuff. And then she go, man, I need a Xanax. That's when I noticed that her addiction was kicking in. Not the sadness wouldn't kick in first. The first thing that would kick in is us chilling, having a great day to I need a Xanax. And it'd be like, okay. And then after a while, you think you can read and see if this XXNS guy really likes me or is he really using me? That's where the need for a rationalization for the Xanax came in because she had all these guys around her and she was very hypersexual. And so she had all these men around her that she'd meet and sleep within, meeting them. And then when they didn't end up wanting a relationship with her, she'd get depressed. And I would tell her, you subconsciously find ways to self sabotage yourself so that you can justify the diagnosis these people gave you as a child. But she also told me that pill addiction runs in her family. And so for me, if pill addiction runs in her family, then yes, everybody kind of find a ways to rationalize a need for pills. And that's where the depression comes in. Because if you take a pill because you're supposed to be depressed, after your body gets off of the wear of that pill, then it's going to tell your mind that it's time for another pill. And if that pill is attached to depression, then it's going to trigger depression to get you to take that pill when you're coming down from the effects. So at first, when I didn't notice, I'd be like, okay, well, you just read me about him and I told you it's not going to turn into a fairy tale. But then when I noticed that me giving her news like that, whether she should have known or not, because sis, you just met him 2 days ago and you did the nastiest things in the world with him for the past 48 hours, and you're wondering why he's treating you, why he only calls you at 3 o'clock in the morning and makes you drive to his house and, stuff like that. And I would look and I'm just like, no, that's not going to be your happily ever after. And I would even tell her, you need to take a break from relationships and find a way to love yourself because you have an addiction problem. Your addiction to the idea of love, but you associate men and sex in the intimacy of sex with love. So she's addicted to that. So she has a lot of sex so that she can get that high, that intimacy, that high of intimacy. And then she'd get addicted to bad news. Rather it was there or not, she'd look for it. And once I start noticing the pattern, I stopped doing readings for her because I told her it wasn't healthy. And then I start giving her affirmations and reaffirming why I loved her, why I was her friend. I didn't have to have sex from her. I didn't have to have anything else, but I loved her because I thought she was this, this, and this. So here she had the love that she needed, but when it wasn't attached to a man and sex, she couldn't recognize it as that. And I'm saying, I don't need anything from you, but I honestly think you're amazing. But she couldn't see that. So so though that's how addictions work, but the root of it for me was how she grew up. Her parents, they fostered that in her. They would withhold love from her because she grew up in a different generation. She's in her 50s now, and her parents were super religious, super country, super uneducated, but they made their money through agriculture and farming. And so her mother had her out of wedlock. And in their small town, where it's a handful of people in the country back then, she quickly after Natasha's dad ran off, it didn't work with them. I feel like the man with means that she met, which is her stepdad, is who she married because he could provide. And nobody liked to talk about the fact that he wasn't her real dad because she got with him while Natasha was like 3 or 4. And they like to just pretend that she was his child. But growing up for her, once her sister was born, she grew up knowing that it was a difference, and she wasn't allowed to have a relationship with her biological father. So she was just stuck feeling a loss of a love and acknowledgement from a man that she knew wasn't her dad, and even knew she wasn't even allowed to tell people that that wasn't her dad. How she felt like she got treated at home. They even went and got foster kids, and she was like they treated the foster kids better than her because she was the child that was out of wedlock and was frowned upon. And so I acknowledge that's probably where she always links up with these men. It doesn't matter if she meets them at a gas station, at the trap house. If they show her some attention, you can get her number. And if you hit her up that night, you gonna get them draws. And then the next day she gonna be asking me to read you and see if y'all gonna get married. And I would listen to her complain and try to seek validation from her stepdad at almost 50 at the time. And he go out of his way not to give it to her. I watched it. So I found ways to affirm things in her that she probably didn't have affirmed in her growing up. And I didn't either because my dad wasn't around. But like I said, I self healed. And so now I'm able to help others. And so, I always reminded her of how amazing she was, and I thought that would help her love herself. And then she betrayed me. And then I had to do her in. And now she'll never have peace if I have anything to say with anything to do with it. But that goes to say, I said all that because Kanye West's issues began when he went through trauma relating to his mother. I meant that even though I laughed, sissy. I meant that with all seriousness. It's just, I feel like I told God, I'll never, well, nobody ever will ever get the chance to betray me the way she did. Because I won't allow, I thought I needed her to love me too. I was still dealing with self-esteem issues, but the last of my self-esteem issues. So nobody else will ever get the chance to betray or hurt me like that. So I was like, well, you got to let me take that for the team. I will never ever let her have peace ever because that level of betrayal ended up leading me to a biopsy. And it led me to my female doctor, who is an Indian woman, telling me women die from heartbreaks. Women die from heartbreak. And she was the one who pointed out that cyst is on your left breast, right over your heart. And it was not an issue because you have lumpy breasts, but you went through life not noticing that. You've never had cysts that you had to get checked out. But as soon as that happened, the next week, I was in the doctor's office. Cysts visible. You could see it. You could see it. And it was more in there that I didn't even know. Broke me to the core. Broke me to the core. Broke me. And my doctor, after we got the biopsy results back and it was benign, that's when she sat me down and told me how to take care of myself emotionally. And this was the titty doctor, the biopsy doctor, an Indian lady. She said you have to find a way to manage stress in life because you have a lot of lumps in your breast. You have PCOS. She said, I don't even have to read your chart to know that you've been through some things. And I said, I was diagnosed with PTSD when I was 12. So, yes, I've been through some things early in life, and it didn't get that much easier. And so until recent years, until I kind of start walking in what I'm doing now, because I've empowered myself. But she said issues like this in women, and I already knew where she was going because again, the way my family grow up. Yes, you guys, all of my regular subscribers, we already rang the bell for Mari, but Mari is another client of mine for those of you guys who are new here, and she became a client when she wasn't even diagnosed yet, y'all. Mari wanted me to diagnose her. I was like, why would you put this pressure on me? So I was like, listen, I still want you to go and get checked with your doctor, but I'll tell you what I see here and I will not diagnose you. But based on what I saw, I did not tell her, yeah, girl, you got cancer or nothing. But I did say you absolutely need to be at your doctor's. And I just left it at that. I just left it at that. And when she said she texted me pictures of the lumps in her breast, and I'm like, girl, they is there. And I was like, I ain't gonna diagnose you because I just had lumps in my breast that were benign. But and she was diagnosed with cancer, and she is cancer free. We did ring the bell for her, and I told her when she booked with me and she let me know about her diagnosis and we had a consultation. At the ending of that consultation, I was so happy before it even happened to say, when you ring the bell, text me. As soon as you ring the bell, I don't care what time it is, text me. And I think it was nighttime when she texted me and I got those pictures. I was in bed rubbing my feet together, probably spilling crumbs in my bed from snacks, child. And I was like, ah! I got up and rang my bell. Yes. So we love to see the miracles that we see around here. And I'm glad that Mari popped up in the chat because she is one. Not to say I had anything to do with that, because all I did was say, listen, she was another one. It wasn't an SOS program. It was until you ring the bell, I'm putting you in every ceremony. Every ceremony I'm putting you in because I don't know how to cure cancer, but I do know how to do woo. And if that's the strongest tool I got, then God damn it, I'm gonna let the doctors do their surgery and I'm gonna do mine. Yeah, I sure did. I sure did because I was like, God damn it, I wish I was powerful enough of a woo lady to say, listen, I'm gonna come to your town for 30 days and I'm gonna live with you for 30 days and I'm gonna take it out of you like Dr. Sabi. I ain't that advanced yet. Maybe one day though. One day we might be doing them kind of miracles around here. Nevertheless, she's a walking miracle and we love to see the miracles. Beautiful day to talk about miracles on this Sunday and healing and health and natural health and things like that. I love it here. We love to see it. And to think we're just here on YouTube, but together we have seen so many wonders be done here. So many wonders. Everybody in here has a testimony that's a busted baby, as I call. Everybody does. And so I feel like for us just to be a platform community on YouTube, but the things that we've done and the things that we've seen, the things that everybody has shared, I I feel really blessed this Sunday. I do. And I had a very, very, very trying week. And the crown of success, because I'm going to merge that with the blockbuster, and then I'll only get 1 or 2 days off before I do my offering ceremony. I'm already tired just thinking about them, but maybe it's me conserving energy. So I'm not doing anything too much energetic because that is going to be some heavy lifting, but I really feel the need to push because I feel like I'm right at the precipice of a breakthrough. And when I read myself 2 days ago, I had the tower in my outcome. And I took that to mean because I am going to push so hard um, for changes that they ain't got no choice. London bridges. I want this tower moment. So I didn't take that tower moment in my reading as negative because I need it. I've been praying for it. And so it's going to happen because it was in my outcome. And so I've been conserving energy for this ceremony. And I ain't going to be able to do another ceremony until probably the next Crown of Success. I said I was going to do a group Venus ceremony for the lovers in February, but I don't know. Auntie don't know. Auntie don't know because I'm still selling just shy of $250,000 house. And selling a house that's almost $1 million takes a lot of energy too. It's a lot of woo in that. Being marketing, that's doing woo. And I always have to think of creative ways to draw attention to that house, to bring buyers in and prospective buyers in. I did my big one with that open house slash toy drive because I ended up getting a new opportunity. They asked me to be, my brokerage asked me to be my regional director of agent engagement and development. I'm sure they made that up on the spot, but that means because they loved that idea, they featured me on a few of their platforms, their mortgage partner, their title partner. I didn't know because I'm new at this brokerage that they had a charity program and they featured me in my event as their agent, like doing charity in the community. And then my broker reached out to me and asked me to set up a 15-minute Zoom the other week. And he lives in the Orlando area, and his region is between there and I would say Gainesville, which is just north of where I live. And so he asked me he wanted to create this new situation here where agents in this region kind of get together from time to time and do team building activities and also um, continuing education courses and things like that. So he wants me to oversee that. And I said I would before I even got a chance to think of all the other 11 things I got to do. And I have a new client, my cousin. I'm busting down on my family child. I'm running through their ass. But my cousin just built 2 new duplexes and they're fabulous. They're huge, new construction. Each unit is almost or just about 2,000 square feet, 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom. And he has 4 units all together, a duplex here, a duplex here. So he thought he was going to rent them out, but when he finishes building these in a couple of months, he said, hell nah, cuz sell them things for me. Take them off my hands, cuz I don't even want to rent them out because who going to manage the property for me? And I said, not me. That's what I won't do is property management because I ain't got time for that. I got too many other things to do other than that requires a full time. So yeah, and he don't want to pay nobody to do it. He want his money on. And so he said, cuz I need you to go out there and, I need you to go out there and look at my duplexes and tell me what you gonna do with them. I said, what I'm gonna do with them? What is you talking about? What you gonna do with them? Cuz I need them things gone. That's what he said. That's how he talked. Cuz I need them things gone. I said, say less. Say motherfucking less. So when I go and do a walkthrough, I may go live on here just in case I got any viewers in Florida that are interested or any investors who are looking to invest in Florida. I got two almost finished. I think he said he may have about 4 or 5 more months on the construction. So I may go live when I do a walkthrough in the duplexes, just in case y'all got y'all coins together and want to invest in a property. Some of y'all don't mind renting properties in Florida. And 2,000 square feet, 3-2 duplex around here, you can charge as little as shit. A 3-2 in that location, I would say you can charge as little as 18 and as most as, I haven't seen them yet, but I'll say 2,200. Between 18 and 22 for each unit. So, yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll go live so y'all can see. I went live doing a walkthrough of my current client's house, who's my aunt and uncle, and let you guys see that property as well, just because I let y'all see a little bit of my personal life too while I be reading everybody else's business. You can be all up in mine. So, with that being said, I don't have anything else to talk about. I could let you guys go, or you guys can tell me if you wanted to peek in on something else, and I might, take a gander down another rabbit hole. Thank you guys for the hearts. I guess that means you guys are liking this post. I just recently found out that liking the post tells YouTube and their algorithm that you guys are real. I think I heard Tasha K say that on her live the other night, because I always pride myself in not asking for you guys for a thing, not a like, a follow, a subscribe, a dollar, a dime, or anything. But she said she asked for likes because that tells YouTube and the algorithm that you guys are real people. Now, I ain't gonna ask for likes, but I'm curious because I know that I have a lot of bush watchers, and I respect you guys wanting to be private in here. So I want to ask y'all to say something in the chat and let me know that you're here, because y'all watch from the bushes for a reason, and I respect whatever it is. But I be wondering, do I have the lack of engagement because most of my subscribers are bots? And y'all know how the trolls come, the bot trolls come around here. So I do know that I got a lot of bots here, but god damn it, how do I get real people? Thank you, by Capricorn. That's how we know you're real. Love you too, my dear. Ooh, I know you real. I done talked to you, child. Sissy's real. April's real. Mari's real. Christine's real. Uh, well, goddamn. I Peel. I feel like I saw you yesterday, maybe, or I think I've seen you in here before, or you left a comment or something. I'm real. The way you walk, the way you talk, the way. Cause I'm real. How did J-Lo have the all fucking Leo audacity? That's how. She's a Leo. Only a Leo would have the audacity to make a song and video and make it a hit called I'm Real, using everybody else's vocals but barely yours. That is the most, that is the most low vibrational Leo shit. Yes, by Capricorn. It's so funny that you asked because I just announced it. The Crown of Success, which is also going to be a blockbuster. I'm doing a 2-in-1 because we need both. Blockbuster slash Crown of Success on New Year's Eve. The only other one I'm doing as a group ceremony will be the spring solstice, which is the new year that I acknowledge. And it's the best time to do a crown of success. However, because the collective conscious is acknowledging and the collective consciousness has power, it's energy, acknowledges December 31st and January 1st is the new year. I'm going to do a crowning success slash blockbuster. And the only reason I'm making it a blockbuster is because, bitch, I need. Fuck what y'all got going on. I need this. Okay? If I told y'all what I have been telling my spirits we doing over here, I rolled out my own blueprint. I don't ask. I say, all right, y'all my spirits. Y'all had y'all lives. Since you guys are participants in mine, this is what we are doing. And yes, we will all benefit from this. But this is what we are doing. Now, this is where I am now. This is where I need to be. And they was like, but the paper ends here. And I said, exactly. Because that means take me above and beyond what I even know currently that I want. And they was like, okay. And then when I checked with them the other day about where I am and what I need to do moving forward to reach the goals that I did not reach, they said, okay, girl, well, you was here, but now you're here. So what you do is go and do that crown of, they told me to do what you plan to do. They didn't tell me to do the crown of success, but the sun came out and the 10 of swords. It was the Knight of Cups, 10 of swords, and the sun. My plan was to do an offering for the spirits and to do the crown of success as my end of the year kind of, it benefits me, but it benefits you guys too. But my original plan wasn't even to do the crown of success. I was going to do the offering ceremony, and the first super moon of the year is on January 2nd and 3rd. So I'm putting the offering ceremony on January 2nd and 3rd because I want to use the power of the super moon not to take, but to give. Our spirits around here have been very kind, very gracious, very benevolent. They've done everything we've asked to do and more. They work hard. So the offering ceremony is to impart energy back into them and tell them we see you and we appreciate you. However, we came up in the group chat with the idea of doing the crown of success on New Year's Eve. So that's a group ceremony on December 31st. If you would like to participate in the offering ceremony and you're participating in the crown of success, I won't put you in both unless you ask me to. And it April, I mentioned if you participate in the crown of success, just tell me. I want to give an offering on the in the offering ceremony because I'm just going to take some money from the crown of success fee to get you an offering to give to the spirits. So the offering ceremony was donation only. That meant I am personally giving an offering to my spirits for all the work they've done for me and the work they've done for you guys when you come to me to get work done. Because as a practitioner, I owe them annual offerings and even ones that I give in between. And recently, when we just did that big money ceremony on the supermoon, I gave one then, but I did not give a certain offering that I will be giving in this one, which is a renewal of covenant. And the 10 of Swords is where that comes in because I have to give them something that has a little bit more power. So that has to be from me because it's a renewal of covenant. I have gone to the pinnacle of where I can go in this state. In order for me to reach my other goals, that means Adina, as we see it today, will have to die. And I'll have to be kind of reborn. And there's a way to do that, kind of renewing my initial covenant with my spirits. It's time for me to do that because I've come a very long way since I started out on this journey, even before YouTube, when I accepted the call and kind of got initiated through spirit. And then when somebody else came that said, I'm supposed to teach you the things that you need to know to start you off. But the crown of success, as I stated at the beginning of this video, is $50 per person. As my regulars know, all the group ceremonies are $50. I'm only doing two group Crown of Success ceremonies this year. And moving forward, I'll only do them as a group ceremony twice a year. You can still get them as a personal ceremony, but on December 31st and the spring solstice, on the New Year's, the calendar one and the natural one are when I will offer group Crown of Success ceremonies. Any other time between that, if you need that, you'll have to get it as a personal ceremony and it costs more. But moving forward, I'll probably keep that schedule of only doing the group Crown of Successes on those two dates because really, those are the best time to do them, especially on the spring solstice. And they bring in, I got you, Nurse Bay. They bring in such substantial, um, long lasting abundance and blessings. It works miracles. Like y'all remember the spring equinox crown of success we did this year? I was the first person to get a testimony because the very next day, and that ceremony lasted almost a week. The very next day, while I was still in the ceremony, my uncle said, Niece, called my phone and said, Niece, I'm ready to put the house, your Aunt Kim and I are ready to put the house on the market. From the first time they told me the house valued at about 6 to 650, and that was about a year and a half ago. Now though, 750. And the people across the street from them are listing their house and they have their house at 999, just almost a little less than $1 million. So it helped justify the 750 for my family's house because they have a bigger house, but they have less acreage. Those people have less house, but they have more acreage, and they still priced it almost 250,000 above mine. So it's gonna help. It's gonna help me sell my aunt and uncle's house. And I've been getting offers from people who can't afford it and want us to, negotiate down. But you got to start at 700. You can't come to me saying I got 450. What can I get for it? But I got that as soon as I started the ceremony. And to this day, I'm still working that bitch. But that was from April. That was the spring solstice. I mean, the spring equinox. That's what the Crown of Success does. A $750 listing. They told me to charge them on commission. Don't give them any discounts because they wanted to bless me. And for a house that big, I would charge anybody else 6%. And I was going to charge them 5 until my new brokerage came along and gave me 100% commission split. So I don't have to give my brokerage any split out of my commission. I keep the whole thing, but I do pay a transaction fee and like a technical fee. And that's fine because it doesn't add up. It doesn't even add up to $1,000. And so that's fine, but I keep 100% of my commission. And my aunt and I was going to charge them 5% because in Florida we can't go above 7, and I wasn't going to put them at 7, and they wanted to bless me, so I could have did 4, but I said 5 is fair, and it puts me at a comfortable place to give my broker a commission because the other brokerage I had, they had a $30, a 30% split. But they ended up going through some legal woes. And I switched brokerages once I saw them going down that path in my vision. I switched brokerages, and the new brokerage is very agent focused. And so, based on the fact that I came to them with a listing ready to go, they were like, do the 100%. And my family was like, do 6%. You can do 7 if that's the max. And I was like, 6. Honey, listen, y'all are being too kind. 6. Because that's fair for this price point. I'm going to be fair because I have to spend a lot of money in marketing to sell a house that's 3 acres, brick, 2-story, 5 bedroom, 3 bathroom, 2 formal living rooms, a dining room, all that stuff. So, yes, I spend a lot of money in marketing that. And so that's fair to get 6%, but that's a 5-figure commission. from the crown of success. And that's just on the real estate side. I just told y'all my cousin wants me to sell his duplexes before I even have my uncle's house sold. And then you have my woo business, and that's been booming all year. I've grown. So I'm only saying that to show what a crown of success does, because it brings upgrades. It's not a fast money ceremony where you just, wake up and you got another $1,000 in your pocket. You walking through the store and you find, somebody done dropped a knot. You go to work and you got an extra bonus, something like that. Your family decide to chip in on your car, something like that. Um, I try to be modest because I am in the spiritual business, not the capitalism business. So for the heavy lifting that I do, because these ceremonies, I can't do them for free. You guys know I got to get materials and stuff. I got to get stuff, and that stuff is expensive. And the certain, honestly, more elaborate. Sometimes the better quality stuff, the better results you're going to get. I'm working with spirits who don't have to do shit. Well, yes, the ones under the pentacles do, the Solomonic ones do, but I don't even like to compel them. So the same way I work with the spirits, because I could compel and demand them like most people who work with Goetia spirits do. But I like to give them thanks too, and I like to give them offerings too. And that's how I build up a respect with the spiritual world. And I feel like that's how I get the results that I get, because I'm not here out to take. But if I do not, if I do everything that I do for free, then I wouldn't be able to do anything I do, because for one, I can't afford to do all that shit for free. I can't afford some of the shit that I use on my own, and I do still spend a lot of my own money. But two, I'd be too tired. And there are times when I have to turn away a lot of things because energetically I cannot do it. If I put too much on myself, I will crash and burn. And so, thank you, April. And so, what good am I if I'm burnt out? Very much a tedious process. And I don't talk about how this is a lifestyle for me. I'm at the graveyard twice a week, and not because of y'all. This was already me. This is kind of why I am what I am where I am, but I'm at the graveyard twice a week. And the more I grow, the more tedious the work that I do behind the scenes has to be. The more I grow, the more spirits want to be attached to what I do, because they see me as an influencer. And now you get spirits like, now that I've gotten a little bit of repertoire for myself on my resume based on the results that I get, now other spirits are like, we want attention too. We want offerings and thanks too. So let me help. Let me help so that you can tell people about me. That's energy. For spirits, awareness. So, and my spirits know I call them out. I call them out in my offering ceremony. All of them will be honored. Your ancestors, if you're in, because if you participate in that offering ceremony, your ancestors are included too, because they do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. They're the reason why you here. So your ancestors, my ancestors, the spirits that I work with, all of that. And it's a lot to maintain spirits and to maintain my own spiritual cleanliness and health. And when I ask for things because I'm really ambitious and they give it to me, instead of complaining when I get overwhelmed, then I start asking to enlarge me, to be enlarge my capacity to hold everything that I want, because I want more. And so enlarge my capacity to hold more so that I'm not burnt out, so that I'm not overwhelmed. One of the lessons I had to learn when I said enlarge my capacity is when they told me that you have to take breaks. Because I was like, bitch, I meant enlarge my energy, meaning give me more energy so that I don't have to take more breaks. And they were like, we can give you all the energy in the world, but that means you ain't gonna never be able to sleep. And you barely do that now. Part of your maintenance is sleep. Think about when you be working so hard and you forget to eat until it's 10, 11 o'clock at night and you have passed out and then you eat, but you done missed all your nutrients for the day. And I'd be like, well, fuck. I never expected them to say breaks and maintenance was going to be a part of enlarging my territory, but and I still want more. So it's not that I'm modest. It's just that I'm a wise lady and I'm not here for the clout or any of that stuff. You guys know if I wanted to make money off of this path, if I wanted to get rich off of this path, I could. I could play off y'all top. I would never offer a group ceremony. I would probably raise my charges. Every 10 testimonies I get, I'll probably raise my charges. And I would do zodiac readings because that gets the people going. I'd have a bigger platform if I did. I say all kind of shit that I know is going to stick to somebody, but I know it's not going to be meaningful. I tell you guys, Virgos, I see love for you, Virgos. Yes. You know that guy that you've been stalking at the gym? He's going to ask for your number. You know that girl that you've been stalking at the gym? She's going to flirt. She's going to look at you a little bit today, and you need to take that as your sign when she looks at you, okay? Somebody, you know what? One of you guys are going to the gym today, Virgo. And when you do, when that guy that you've been crushing on or that girl, they're going to look at you when you walk past them and smile. That's your cue. That's your cue to just take it because they want it. Just take it. In my They be setting people up sometimes because think of all the Virgos in the world that ain't getting chose and ain't getting sexed. There are some who will. Now think of all the ones who haven't been chosen in a long time. And they've been listening to that shit. Now they is That's your sign. When they look at you, that's your sign. Just take it. They're playing coy with you. See? High Priestess, Pisces. They're playing games with you. They're playing mind games. They're being secretive. They're being quiet about their intentions and their feelings. But it's like High Priestess. What they really want you to do is take it. I could do that because how many Virgos out there might find love? And then you're going to be like, yes, she is on point. Now think about the Virgo that ain't had none in 2 years. I'm not a Virgo, but my son is in the sixth house. I got a stellium in the sixth house. Think about the Virgo stellium that ain't had none in 2 years. And they're like, yes, yes. And mind you, the gym is the best place to get tempted because all you see is body and build. Now think about when they go in the gym and they look at their gym crush and their gym crush looks at them and says, what's up? Now think about if it's a woman and she didn't listen to your Virgo reading and she's like, and she's like, oh my God, that means he wants it. He's just being secretive. He's playing coy. This means he likes me. So let me just go up and shoot my shot because my favorite reader said so. And then you go shoot your shot because you sure, because it was down to the fact that you looked at that man, which is bound to happen. He smiled. Sure, that can happen too. But that bitch done told you that you was going to go to the gym and somebody was going to smile at you. And you just so happen to like that person. And you don't walk your happy ass up there. And that man says, sorry, I'd rather date a dog. Not saying that that's what they say, but bitch, that's how you gonna feel if they tell you no. You gonna feel like they just called you the ugliest woman on earth. And then you're gonna be sulking and then you're gonna be mad at that bitch. When all she did was do what she could do. And that's take advantage of your gullibility. So those are the things I could do if I wanted to be a rich psychic medium. I would promise you all the moon and the stars because some of you guys might get it. And that's just rolling dice. If I want to gamble, honey, I go play poker down to my uncle's house because I be winning. I don't gamble with y'all because what happens when I'm wrong? I lose y'all. And not more than that, I got to deal with the spirits. Because if I didn't have this gift, I wouldn't be here. I would have found plenty of the other things that I'm talented enough to do. And I chose the hardest thing to do. The thing that came with the most sacrifice in my life is what I do. I'll, child, the way I grew up a people pleaser, I would never have sacrificed some of the relationships with my family, some of their ideals of me. I wouldn't have sacrificed those for this. I don't make that much money doing this. I wouldn't have sacrificed the relationship I thought I had with my mom, but really it was just me living in a delusion. But I would have rather to stay there thinking that there was someday I could make her like me when there wasn't, instead of living in the reality now that I can't make her like me, but I don't want to anymore. You know, the lessons that came along with the training of this path, when the spirits call you to it, the lessons they take you through to make you prepared for this life, y'all think I would have chose that? Mm-mm. I could have been an entertainer. I could have made music, signed my soul to somebody's label, married a baller or a rich man, and child, I'm a Libra. Tony Braxton, we have the same birthday. I could have done it. I've had opportunities, and I passed them all up for my goddamn morals. And because I always thought I was better than those people. So, anyways, I feel like I'm the prize. What I need to sell my soul for to you when that's going to give you more than you ever deserved? My soul? Oh, you don't have to take that. I'm going to hold on to that because I know how valuable it is. Uh-uh. Mm-mm. You're going to have to take it in blood. When I stood up for myself with two people that told me they love me, they tried to take my business from me, take my six-figure commission from me, took the love and the relationship that we had from me, took the farm and the animals from me. And well, let's just say I ain't stopped taking shit since, but I learned not to be so tender and they learned not to be so damn dumb. And we all just learn lessons in life and keep it moving, I guess. All right. I've been here for 122 minutes and 52 seconds. I just learned boundaries. I'm telling you, you don't become grown till you in your 30s. I've been telling the younger ones this. You don't become grown until you in your 30s. I don't care what you think. Something happens at 35 and it happens in your brain. They say that your brain finished developing at 25. It may finally be hardened, but the capacity for it now to hold the weight of life lessons and comprehension, that don't happen till 10 years later at 35. Mm-mm. You gonna just put trans in here several times for fucking what? But at 35, you literally be like, wait a second, I'm grown. I look grown, I feel grown. Wait a second. Let me put some respect on my name. That's what you do in your 30s. And once you hit that, let me put some respect on my name phase, that's where the learning how to put boundaries come in at. Because then you start putting some respect on your motherfucking name. Up until then, you still got people that you look up to and that you're modeling yourself after, other people that you're trying to, and after you've tried and failed to be some of all your role models, and you wake up at 35 and realize, wait, I am just me. And I'm starting to feel age. And the first part of aging that you feel is, I don't give no fuck. That is the first sign of aging. Losing fucks. I promise you, it's the first thing to go. Even before your gray, before your the gray set in, losing fucks starts to go. That's why in those late 30s, that's why we learn boundaries, because you start accepting yourself then. You start saying, fuck that, I'm me. You've failed, you've learned what works and what doesn't. And at 35, that's where your Saturn return is done with you for real, for real. It's moved on. You're already redirected. And a Saturn return ages you. A Saturn transit ages you a little bit. So not only did you realize, wait a second, I'm me, and I'm gonna start putting some respect on my name. That's only because you start losing fucks and you decided to set boundaries. So that's what happens. That's why 3 years ago at 37 you start learning, or at 40 you start learning boundaries. I learned at 35, or better yet, 37. When that Andrew and Natasha situation happened, that literally killed me, and then I died and I was reborn. And I'm about to go through another one, because that was the last time I felt like I did not want to live. That's the last time I struggled with that. After that, I put some respect on my name, because I was like, you got to be kidding me. Two people that I thought were actually not that great. I actually thought I got my work cut out, because I'm going to have to cover a lot of their cracks. And I was going to do that silently without alerting them to it. But when I realized I'm better than them, when I realized all that time I thought that they were, these great people, and then it turns out that I was better than them. And all it took was from one email from an attorney to get them so shook, they shut that whole thing down, shut it down. No, and a little bit of woo. But yeah, so yeah. All right, Dina's hungry. I'm gonna go get something to eat. I might pop back up later. We'll see. If I do, it will be for a members live. Thank you for acknowledging my robe. And it has a train, so it follows me all around. The train has this on the end. I love a really dramatic robe. I have kimonos, robes, lingerie, and I'm a single girl, but I wear that shit for me. Okay. Touch my body. Anyways, love you guys. Bye.